Good evening, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jen B, and you're tuned in live to the show of the land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tonight, we are going to talk about the Browns getting another win, some more injuries to report, shocker, some roster updates, and what happened in the game against the Bears, and what's next for the Browns and the playoffs. That's right, playoffs. Then we will talk some basketball with the Cavs and the Charge and college basketball. And guess what? More injuries. And then we will talk some hockey with the Blue Jackets and the Monsters. And guess what? More injuries. And then we've got a little bit of Guardians news to wrap things up. So, fun stuff to cover with lots of injuries. Injuries, and more injuries. Shout out to Taryn Rodriguez and Mikey Two Guns in the chat. Taryn hosts our Set Point volleyball show and also the SoCal Supreme Sports Show for everything Southern California, and especially his Chargers. And Mikey hosts the Our Bleeping City show. So be sure to tune into those shows. And you can check all of the shows out on our website at iesportsradio.com. There's a list of all of our shows and the hosts. There's some bios on all of the hosts. There is the Hall of Fame that I am actually a nominee for this year. So if you're on X, get on and vote. Mikey Two Guns is also a nominee, so get on there and vote. Taryn is already in the Hall of Fame, so congratulations to Taryn. And let's get started with some Browns. Grant Delpit is on IR. Ending his regular season, he could possibly return for the playoffs, but he is done for the season with a torn groin muscle, which he did have surgery to repair. Obo Okoronkwo has a torn pec. He is possibly out for the season, but has not been determined yet. He is waiting on a second opinion on whether or not he needs surgery to repair the tear. And I think I mentioned this last week because I think it came out right before the show, but Maurice Hurst is also out for the season with a torn pec. So that game against the Jaguars was not a great game where injuries are concerned. Ethan Posick was also out this week with an injury sustained in that game. Kevin Stefanski said yesterday in his press conference that he's not giving any injury updates until tomorrow, so have no idea where anybody stands, but Ethan Posick missed the game, so Nick Harris got the start at center. He actually got hurt during the game and went out, and Luke Whippler came in and played center for a little while. Nick Harris did go back in, but fun stuff with the offensive line. We're on our fourth and fifth tackles at right, third tackle at right tackle, and second at left tackle. And we were on our third string center partway through the game on Sunday. The Browns did assign Duron Harmon to the active roster. He's a safety. And then they signed offensive tackle Joey Fisher to the practice squad. Jordan Elliott was in concussion protocol, but he did clear and was able to play on Sunday. Denzel Ward practiced most of the week, and he did also play on Sunday. Juan Thornhill and Ethan Posick were both out. So that gave Ronnie Hickman and D'Anthony Bell a lot of playing time with all of our starting safeties out. So played the Bears Sunday and the Browns won 20-17. Joe Flacco threw 28 or had 28 completions on 44 attempts for 374 yards and 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, but we're not going to talk about the interceptions. And he is up for the FedEx Air Award this week again for the second week in a row. So be sure to get on and vote for Joe Flacco. Mikey Two Guns in the chat says the Browns have been so exciting. You guys signed Ron Harmon? I love that guy. He helped the Pats with a bunch of Super Bowls. Yes, we did. He was on the practice squad for a couple of weeks, and they just added him to the active roster after Grant Delpit went on IR. So he did get some playing time this week. I didn't see him do a whole lot, but JOK was kind of stealing the show out there on defense this week. So between JOK and Dalvin Tomlinson, nobody really got talked about on defense other than those two. There were 3 sacks. JOK had 1, Alex Wright had 1, and so did rookie cornerback Cam Mitchell. Amari Cooper and David Njoku both had over 100 receiving yards. Cooper at 109 and Njoku at 104. And that is the first time since Josh Gordon played for the Browns that 2 receivers had over 100 receiving yards in the same game. So that was like 2013 or something like that. So that's pretty crazy. There were 2 interceptions, both on Hail Marys at the end of each half. The first one was JOK, and the second, D'Anthony Bell, on the craziest play ever. Hail Mary to the end zone with time expiring. The ball literally hit the Bears wide receiver in the hands, bounced off his chest, and then he kicked it up in the air, and D'Anthony Bell caught it and ran it out of the end zone to end the game. The offensive line struggled bad, obviously. So many injuries. By the end of the game, the only starting offensive lineman still playing was Wyatt Teller. Joe Bitonio left in the first quarter with back injury. Apparently, he was having some tightness in his back during pregame warmups, but he said he wanted to give it a go, and he did not make it very far. So Michael Dunn came in for him, and as I said earlier, Nick Harris got hurt at one point, and Luke Whippler came in for him. So Jerron Christian is still playing left tackle, and James Hudson at right tackle. James Hudson is not playing well. He had a couple of penalties this week. It's just, it's annoying. And we can't get the run game going because nobody seems to know what they're supposed to be doing on the offensive line because they're not used to playing together because it's a bunch of backups and Wyatt Teller. So, fun stuff. Today, the Browns signed defensive tackle Chris Williams to the practice squad. And on Sunday, they will be playing the Houston Texans. Don't know if CJ Stroud will be back yet. As of yesterday, he was still in concussion protocol. I have not seen any updates yet today. Welcome to the chat, Britt. Britt just joined and she said, I'm so glad I found a live Browns show in the airport on a layover. Well, safe travels to you, Britt. And I'm glad you could join. So there are some scenarios where the Browns could clinch a playoff berth this week. So are you ready for this? Because it's kind of long. Scenario number 1. Cleveland win and a Cincinnati loss, Denver loss or tie, Buffalo loss, Miami win or tie, and Indianapolis loss or tie. 2. Cleveland win. All of these are actually Cleveland wins. So anyway, Cleveland win plus a Pittsburgh loss or tie, plus a Buffalo loss, plus a Miami win or tie, plus a Denver loss or tie. 2. Or I'm sorry, that was 2. 3. Cleveland win plus a Pittsburgh loss or tie, plus a Buffalo loss, plus Miami win or tie, plus Jacksonville loss, plus Indianapolis win. Number 4. Cleveland win plus Pittsburgh loss or tie, plus Denver loss or tie, plus Jacksonville loss, plus Indy win. Number 5. Cleveland win, Pittsburgh loss or tie, plus a Buffalo loss, plus a Kansas City win, Indianapolis win, Jacksonville loss. Number 6. Cleveland win, Pittsburgh loss or tie, Denver loss or tie, Miami win or tie, Jacksonville loss. And number 6. Cleveland win, Cincinnati Pittsburgh tie, Buffalo loss, Indianapolis win, Jacksonville loss. So, all kinds of different scenarios. So we'll see how it all plays out. But it is possible for the Browns to clinch a playoff berth this week. So that's pretty exciting. So don't count us out. And last report I saw, the Browns also have a 25% chance still of taking the division. Now, of course, we need Baltimore to lose 2 of their last 3 games in order for that to happen. And they have to lose to Miami for that to happen. So one of the losses has to be to Miami. So, lots to look at here. So we will see how it all plays out. But all in all, the Browns just need to keep winning. Mikey Two Guns in the chat says, Joe Flacco has really looked great for you guys. He has, except for the interceptions. Hopefully he can cut that out a little bit. I do think some of it is just communication. 4 different starting quarterbacks. The one interception was a pass to Cedric Tillman, who is a rookie wide receiver. And from the way things look, because Cedric Tillman was kind of getting screamed at when he came off the field, I believe he ran the wrong route. And so, it's not, the interceptions aren't 100% on Joe Flacco. However, he could be a little more careful with the ball. He did have a ton of turnover-worthy passes. Only 3 of them ended up being turnovers, but there were at least 3 others that were in and out of defenders' hands that should have been interceptions. And there were a few that he got just plain lucky on that nobody caught, or the one, Cedric Tillman, somehow came out of it with the ball. I thought for sure it was intercepted when I was watching the game live, and I was like, oh my gosh, not another one. And then I looked, and Cedric Tillman's running down the field, and I was like, oh, that wasn't an interception. Awesome. But he does try and squeeze that ball in some very tight windows, and it's a little nerve-wracking. But he is definitely the best we've got, or he gives us the best shot. I don't know about being the best that we've got. DTR is yet to be proven, but he's definitely better than PJ Walker, and he has the experience that DTR does not have, which comes in very handy, He threw 3 interceptions and still pulled off the fourth quarter to get us back into the game and take the lead. So that is not something that you would expect to see from a rookie quarterback. So he does bring that positivity to things, and the experience, the playoff experience, the Super Bowl experience will all come in very handy come playoff time. So we just need the Browns to keep on winning, and then we don't have to worry about it, because if they win, they're in. I mean, not this week. They need some other teams to do other stuff to get in this week, but if they keep winning, I don't see a 12-5 team not making the playoffs. So, but, we'll see what happens. I think this game is probably the toughest left. We play the Texans this week, and then the following week we play the Jets at home. And it does not look like Aaron Rodgers will be making his return since the Jets have been officially eliminated from the playoffs. So not even sure who the quarterback will be for the Jets, because I believe Zach Wilson got hurt last week. But we play the Jets in Cleveland. I'm not worried really about playing anybody in Cleveland, because the Browns just step things up big time when they play at home. They are 7-1 at home now, so I'm not too worried about the Jets game. The Texans game, a lot of that is going to depend on if we get any of these guys back from injury, especially Ethan Posick, and what's going on with Joe Bitonio. Having those two guys in there will help significantly on the offensive line, because then we're only down 2 starters on the offensive line instead of 3 or 4. Mikey says, what is the excitement level there in Cleveland with the Brownies? It must be electric. It's a little up and down. There are those people that are somewhat irritated that the Browns signed Joe Flacco because he was a Raven. And then we've got a whole segment of people that can't stand Kevin Stefanski and want him fired no matter what happens. He's terrible. He can't call plays, blah, 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 blah. The blind people. I have to call them the blind people, because anybody who knows much about football and has actually watched the games knows that Kevin Stefanski is doing one hell of a job with 4 different starting quarterbacks in the same season, and this team is 9-5. That's pretty spectacular in and of itself, not to mention the other 50,000 injuries. So and then there's, of course, the people like me that are super excited and can't wait to see how this all plays out. But we're also, being Browns fans, we know how this usually goes. We're like cautiously optimistic, waiting for the other shoe to drop kind of thing. Like when it happens, we'll be ecstatic. But until it happens, it's like waiting for the fat lady to sing. So, in 2020, when the Browns made the playoffs, when we beat Pittsburgh, I literally sat on the couch with my mouth open and did not move, with a tear streaming down my cheek for a good 15-20 minutes, because I could not believe that it just happened, that the Browns were in the playoffs for the first time since I was a child. Mikey says, how many years has it been since the Browns last won a Super Bowl? Well, Mikey, they have never won a Super Bowl. They won championships before the Super Bowl existed. but they have never won a Super Bowl. The last time they won a championship, I believe, was 1964 before the Super Bowl. And Taryn says, considering the Browns have been through a litany of injuries, Stefanski deserves a lot of credit for this season. And Taryn, I agree 110%. A ton of credit. It is not easy to change up your game plan every single week because you don't know who your starting quarterback is going to be. And then everything got thrown out the window in week 2 when Nick Chubb went down, because that changes everything. You no longer have your power running game. So, you can't do the same things with Jerome Ford that you do with Nick Chubb. So it's just been insanity for the offense. Absolute insanity with the injuries on the offensive line, the changes at quarterback, Nick Chubb going down, injuries here and there in other spots, wide receiver, even at running back. Kareem Hunt has been playing injured. Jerome Ford has been playing injured. It's just insane. And yes, Mikey, 1960s was the last time. It has been that long. The last championship for Cleveland, period, was 2016 when the Cavs won it. Before that, it was, I believe, 1964 when the Browns won. So, yes, we have been championship drought central here in Cleveland. But that is going to wrap things up for the Browns. We will talk more about them, of course, next week. But I am going to take a short break and get some water so I don't go into a coughing fit. And then I will be back to talk some basketball. But before I go, real quick, Mikey wants to know who my favorite current Browns player is and my all-time favorite Browns player. All right, so current is Nicholas Jamal Chubb. Given that he's not playing, I will go with somebody else who is playing. And this season, it's got to be Dustin Hopkins. All-time favorite Brown, Eric Metcalf. Hands down, no question. I have loved him since I was probably 8 years old. I had my bedroom wallpapered in newspaper articles about Eric Metcalf. Literally, my mom hated me because I had my bedroom wallpapered in newspaper articles. But yes, Eric Metcalf, all-time favorite. Nick Chubb, my current favorite. And Dustin Hopkins, current active favorite. But anyway, I will be back after a short break. So stay tuned in to the Show of the Land with Jen B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each And every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR. And you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always willing to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo sports with a twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
You're back live with Jen B on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's talk some basketball. So the Cavs played a few games this past week. Tuesday, they were in Boston against the Celtics. Karis LeVert made his return from injury, and he was on a pitch count, but he was back. Starting lineup was Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Dean Wade, and Jarrett Allen. At the end of the first quarter, the Cavs were up 31-21. At the end of the half, they were up 60-59. At the end of three, they were down 94-92, and they ended up losing 120-113. Donovan Mitchell led with 29 points. Mike, he says that Celtics Cavs game was incredible. Felt like a playoff game. It always feels like a playoff game when the Cavs and Celtics play. It's crazy. Those two teams just go at it. Like, it doesn't matter what part of the season it is. They just go at it like crazy. And for whatever reason, Donovan Mitchell and Karis LeVert tend to always play extraordinarily well against the Celtics. Then we played the Celtics again in Boston on Thursday. And the starting lineup was Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Dean Wade, and Jarrett Allen. Mikey says Donovan Mitchell was on fire. I did not think he was ever going to miss a shot. He gets like that sometimes, and it's amazing to watch. Like, that game last year when he scored 71, oh my gosh. I don't think anybody else even touched the ball most of the game. It was crazy. So in this one, the Cavs were down the entire game, 33-24 at the end of one, 65-54 at the half, 90-87 at the end of three, and they ended up losing 116-107. Darius Garland got hurt during this game, and it was later announced that he will be out for multiple weeks with a fractured jaw. Donovan Mitchell led again with 31 points. Evan Mobley also out for multiple weeks after undergoing knee surgery on the knee that has been injured for the last few games. It was arthroscopic surgery, so he is expected to be back. I believe it was 6 to 8 weeks for him. Darius Garland's going to be rechecked in a month. Mikey says he scored 71 in a game. Yes, he absolutely did. At this moment, I cannot remember who it was against. I want to say it was the Bulls, but I could be wrong. But it was tied, and we were down by 4. They fouled him behind the line, and he made the first 2 free throws, missed the third, got his own rebound, or maybe we were down by 3, and we needed 4 to win. Anyway, hit the first 2, missed the third intentionally, got his own rebound, and shot a 2 to win it. And that was point number 70 and 71. It was something to see. It was an amazing game. But anyway, Saturday played the Atlanta Hawks in Cleveland. The starting lineup without Darius Garland and Evan Mobley was Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and Jarrett Allen. At the end of 1, the Cavs were up 41-28. At the end of 2, 70-52. At the end of 3, 92-81. And they won 127-119. Jarrett Allen led with 25 points. He also had a double-double with 14 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell also had a double-double with 22 points and 13 assists, which was a career high in assists for Donovan Mitchell. Then last night, the Cavs played the Houston Rockets. Starting lineup was Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and Jarrett Allen. They were down 34-33 at the end of 1, 59-57 at the half. They were up 99-98 at the end of 3. It was tied at 122 at the end of the game, going into overtime, and the Cavs won 135-130. Donovan Mitchell led with 37 points. Sam Merrill had a career high 19 points. And shout out to It's Drewski, who just joined. And he says, have a great show. Thank you very much. Mikey says, Max Strus, is he having a good year? Has he been a good signing in your opinion? Max Strus is having an amazing year, and he has been an amazing signing. I don't know where the Cavs would be right now without him. He has really stepped up, especially with the injuries. His 3-point shooting is amazing. And when he's on, he is fire. In one game, he scored 20 points in one quarter, almost all threes. It was amazing. So the Cavs' next games are tomorrow against the Utah Jazz, Thursday against the Pelicans, and Saturday in Chicago at the Bulls. So hopefully they can continue winning even with the injuries. Ugh. On to the Cleveland Charge. So the Charge is struggling a bit because the Cavs have so many injuries. Isaiah Mobley and Craig Porter have been with the Cavs, so they're down two of their best players. But Thursday they played in Iowa at the Wolves, and they lost 118 to 115. Sharif Cooper led with 31 points and also had a double-double with 10 assists. Justin Powell had a double-double with 13 points and 12 rebounds. Friday, they again played the Iowa Wolves and lost 136 to 113. And Amoni Bates led with 29 points. Their next games are tomorrow at G League Ignite and Friday at Oklahoma City Blue. Mikey says, have you attended a Cavs game at the Q? What's the atmosphere like? I want to do a road trip and catch a Celtics Cavs game there. I have not. The last time I went to a Cavs game, they were still at the old Coliseum. I was in probably middle school the last time I went to a Cavs game. I have been to the Q. It is a very nice facility. I've been there for concerts. I have not been for a Cavs game, but it is definitely electric in the field house when it's not even called the Q anymore. What the heck is it called? Rocket Mortgage Field House is what it's called now. Yes, Craig Elo and Mark Price days. Yes, Brad Doherty. Brad Doherty was my guy. I loved Brad Doherty. My brother was a huge Mark Price fan. But yeah, that when they were the blue and orange with the basketball hoop on their jerseys, that is the last time I went to a Cavs game. But yeah, it does get absolutely crazy in there, especially when the Cavs are winning. But they are pretty much sold out every game. It's a packed house most of the time. Actually, the only team that really doesn't sell out is the Guardians, and that's just because there's so many baseball games. Their weekend games tend to sell out, but the weekday games, not so much. Larry Bird played his last ever game against the Cavs in the field house, the 1992 playoffs. Wow. I'm not sure where they were playing in 1992. It might have still been the Coliseum then. I'm not sure. I can't remember when the new facility was built. It was in the 90s because I know I went there in high school. So it was sometime in the 90s when it was built, but probably after 92. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I know they played in the it was the Coliseum, Mikey says. Yeah, the Coliseum was crazy old. It was so dark in there. It was kind of scary being there as a kid, But my dad used to work for a printing company in Cleveland, and they had a loge at the Coliseum, and got some. We used to get leftover tickets to and whatever they had going on. We went to a couple of circuses for free, and we went to ice skating thing for free, and then I believe he also got some tickets to some Cavs games that we got to go see and sit in the loge, which was really cool. We also had my brother and I got some free tickets to uh, Indians at the time and Cavs games through school for the like right to read stuff and things like that. So we did go to a few games. Plus, my brother and I both played rec. Well, he played baseball. I played softball um, for the rec league. So we got discounted tickets to Indians games through that too for the team night. So that was always a fun experience as well. Um, but Mikey says the Guardians had an epic sellout streak in the 90s. Well, yes, they were very good then. They do still their Friday, Saturday, Sunday games tend to sell out for the most part. The weekday games not so much. The home opener generally sells out. Um, if it's a weeknight game, then it depends how they're doing. If they're in the playoff hunt, then they tend to sell out. But the Cavs and the Browns, I can't really speak for the Cavs when they weren't good because I didn't really pay attention to them then. So I don't know if they sold out, but now they pretty much sell out. The Browns always, always, always sell out. Mikey says, I like that guy that bangs the drum in center field at the Indians games. Unfortunately, he passed away this past year. And his drum is now in the Baseball Hall of Fame. So, he had, I want to say, some form of cancer. But the Guardians did a bunch of fundraising and things like that for him. And and did a bunch of stuff for his family as well, but he did unfortunately pass away last year. Mikey says no. Yes, unfortunately. And he says Jacobs Field. It's now I think it's still Progressive Field. I could be wrong though. I don't know. It will always be the Jake to me, but I think it's Progressive Field now. But you know what? Since we're talking about the Guardians, let's move on to the Guardians news, and then we'll get on to some hockey. Larry Doby was awarded the Congressional Gold of Medal on last Wednesday, the 13th, which would have been his 100th birthday. So the medal was given to his family. Jose Ramirez and Emmanuel Clase were named All MLB second team, and spring training starts February 24th. Mikey says, have you ever been to the old Indian Stadium? Absolutely. My parents were season ticket holders to the Browns, so they played in the same stadium. The old municipal stadium, yes, I have been there many, 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 many times. My parents were season ticket holders, so I went to a bunch of Browns games, and my brother and I played rec league, so we got tickets to at least one Indians game every summer. So I've actually been to both. Jacobs Field, well, it was Jacobs Field then, now it's Progressive Field. I've been to both the new and the old municipal stadium. So yeah, it is it's fun going to games. And when I played softball for the city, when we went, we actually got to walk around the field, which was really cool, and we could see the players like warming up in the dugout and stuff. That was pretty cool. Omar Vizquel laughed at me because my girlfriend and I were obsessed with him, and when we saw him in the dugout, we both screamed, and he laughed at us, so that was pretty cool. But anyway, on to some hockey. Hockey, hockey, hockey. And more injuries. Shocking, right? But before we get to the injuries, Elvis Merzlikins was activated from IR. And the Blue Jackets played the Toronto Maple Leafs on Thursday and won 6-5 in overtime. Patrick Laine had a goal. Kent Johnson had 2 goals. Yegor Chinnikov had a goal. Justin Danforth had a goal. And Johnny Gaudreau also had a goal. Then Saturday they played the New Jersey Devils in Columbus and lost 6-3. Chinnikov, Marchenko, and Texier all had goals, and Patrick Laine got hurt and is back on IR. Brandon Gaunce was recalled from the Monsters to replace Patrick Laine. And the Blue Jackets will play again tonight at the Buffalo Sabres, Thursday against the Capitals, and Saturday again against the Maple Leafs. So hopefully, even with all the injuries, they can get a couple of wins out of that group of games. They did squeak one out last week, so hopefully they can get 1 or 2 more. Then the Monsters, who are losing players to the Blue Jackets left and right, are happy to have their goaltender back, Jet Greaves, that the Blue Jackets were borrowing while Elvis Merzlikins was on IR, and they are on a nice little 2-game win streak. Thursday, they played the Belleville Senators and won 5-1. James Malatesta had a goal. Marcus Bjork had a goal. Then Malatesta had another goal. Roman Akan had a goal. And Carson Kuhlmans had a goal. Friday, they again played the Belleville Senators and won 2-1. Justin Pearson had a goal, and it was his first professional goal. And then Mikhail Paitia had an empty netter, and they won 2-1. So nice little 2-game winning streak there. Their next games are Wednesday at the Rochester Americans, Friday at the Syracuse Crunch, and Saturday at the Utica Comets. So hopefully they can continue on their little winning streak. Hopefully the Blue Jackets can figure out how to get some wins. I saw a little rumor today that there is a possibility that Johnny Gaudreau will be dealt to the Philadelphia Flyers. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if that happens, and if it does, what the Blue Jackets get in return. They definitely need some scorers with Patrick Laine and Boone Jenner both on IR. Adam Fantilli's been away from the team a little bit with something going on with his family too. So hopefully everybody will be good to go. Alexander Texier is also questionable for tonight, so the injuries just keep on mounting. But I do believe I saw that Severson was practicing. He's been on IR for a couple of weeks. So if that's the case, that would be a good get back. So we will see if he ends up being activated. But yeah, the injuries are hitting all of the teams, it seems. And then the Charge and the Monsters are suffering because they're losing players to their professional counterparts in the NBA and NHL to fill in for those injuries. So, fun stuff. Everybody's hurt. One of these days, we are going to not talk about injuries. Won't that be nice? Nick Mikey says, did you like Nick Foligno? I met him last year. Nicest guy ever. Yes, but I cannot say that I ever met him. And he said, I was so sad when the Bruins traded him to the Blackhawks. Unfortunately, that seems to be the thing in hockey. People just get traded a lot. I am waiting to see what happens this season. There have been lots of rumors about the Blue Jackets trading. They do have 3 goaltenders on their roster right now, so I definitely would not be surprised if they do end up trading a goaltender. But we'll see what happens with that. They definitely need something because they can't seem to get it together. And Mikey says, what did you think of Torts as a coach? I honestly don't have an opinion on that. I just recently started getting into the Blue Jackets and hockey, so I'm not overly familiar with their past. But I know they fired a coach before the season started, and then they hired Pascal Vincent, and he seems to be doing pretty well so far. He's trying to get things together and figure out who works best together and get the lines the way he wants them. But it seems like he's figuring it out. They've seemed to be getting better as the season goes on, but there's then the injury bug hits and blows that all out of the water. Mikey says he's going to send me some classic Torts press conferences. I'll get a good laugh. I look forward to it, Mikey. That sounds like fun. I love fun press conferences. They are hysterical. I mean, there have been some doozies the last couple of years. So, speaking of which, David Njoku, when asked his reaction to the Hail Mary at the end of the game, his response was, I almost shit myself. And Kevin Stefanski's response was, I'll have to get back to you on that. I blacked out. I have to watch the tape. Oh, these guys. But anyway, that is going to wrap things up. So be sure to check out our sponsor, Planet Jerky, at planetjerky.net. Premium beef brisket jerky. It is a great stocking stuffer or Christmas gift for those out-of-town people. You can order it online at planetjerky.net. The packs run usually between $10 and $20 a pack, and you get free shipping on orders over $50. So check them out. You can also follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky and get you some premium beef brisket jerky that is on a whole other planet. But that is going to be all for tonight. Thank you for joining me, Mikey and Taryn and Britt and Marcus and anyone else out there who's listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is Jen D on the Show of the Land, and be sure to follow me on X, Instagram, and Threads at BelieveLandGirl, and you can follow me on TikTok at jen.believeland, and that's Jen with 2 N's. For daily updates, follow the show on X at Show of the Land IE. Next up is the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax. talk all that is Buffalo sports. And be sure to catch me next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the Show of the Land for more on Cleveland and Columbus sports right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And be sure to follow IE Sports Radio on all social media platforms at IE Sports Radio. And go vote for the Hall of Fame. Have a great night, Ohio.
What?